Hey folks, Ed here from Brain Pulp TV, and I am coming at you today with an opening. A very special opening because, yes, it is a box of Eternal Masters. Now, before I open this box, a few things. One, each time I open a booster box, usually there's a couple cards that I sort of keep tally of. The Mythics, I always keep tally of. With Eternal Masters, the cards aren't exactly flashy that I'm going to be keeping tally of, but they're two cards that I really, really like that I've played with in Pauper before. And I'm really hoping to get some newer, less beat-up versions of them. Man of War being one of the cards. That is a card that I absolutely love building decks around in Pauper. And another blue card, sorry, didn't mix it up with colors, is Daze, which is a card that I haven't really played much with in Pauper. Now, originally Daze was common, so it can still be used as Pauper. In Eternal Masters, it's upgraded to uncommon, so I'm not expecting to get a whole lot of copies of it. However, still, that is another card that I would love to have some new artwork for with my Pauper decks. And the last thing I want to mention is, while there is a lot of value that can be had in an Eternal Masters booster box, the way I look at it is the same way I look at like a trip to Vegas. Is it possible to win money? Yes. Have I won money before? Yes. Do I go there expecting to win money? No, I do not go there expecting to win money. So, my buying a box of Eternal Masters, even though it's probably the priciest booster box I'll ever buy, is not being done with the intention of making money off of this box. I think there's a lot of value. Like I said, the Man of War, Daze, there's a bunch of other commons and uncommons which I think have value in this as well too. And while I would love to open up foil, Force of Will, or whatever, I'm not going into this expecting that. So all that said, we're just going to open this up, see what we get, and be happy with whatever that is. Okay, got my trusty knife here. We're just going to slice this open. Now, I also may be taking a little bit longer with each pack in this. There's only 24 packs, and there are some commons and uncommons that I do want to keep an eye on, or keep an eye out for. So I may be going a little bit slower, though I will only read off the titles, most likely, of the uncommons and the rares, and of course the foil, which is in every single pack. There is at least one guaranteed foil. Okay, so open up the box here. Slide this in. Have a little insert. Now, Eternal Masters is really meant to be drafted. So I am hoping that I can get the chance to draft it. I'll definitely be drafting the online version at least once and posting that video for the channel. But I'm also hoping I can do an actual physical Eternal Masters draft, even if it's just with Travis and Steve, just the three of us doing some sort of weird sort of three-person draft. But anyways, let's get to the packs right now. Okay, slide this back. Now let's see, I'm looking at a monitor in front of me, so hopefully I'll be able to keep this as close as possible and in focus for you guys. So I'm just going to thumb through the commons here, see if there's any of the ones that I'm looking for. Swiftwater Cliffs, they've already brought back the come into tapped, gain 1 life, dual lands, so... Counterspell. Actually, this is one of the cards that I was thinking of putting up on the side there as something I was keeping a tally of. I'm really excited to get some new copies of Counterspell, especially with this really nice artwork. Okay, for our first uncommon, we have Tooth and Claw, Cabal Therapy, or Cabal Therapy, sorry. Prodigal Sorcerer, which is another card that from back in the day I really, really liked. It's got updated artwork, so it's kind of nice to have a copy of that now, too. And Mystical Tutor. This is one of the cards. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a whole lot of rares, not even expensive rares, from this set that I'm hoping for. Wrath of God, for example. I'm really excited to get a copy of that. And Mystical Tutor was one of the cards that I wanted to get a copy of. Now, Mystical Tutor, for 1 blue is an instant, and search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal that card, shuffle your library, then put the card on top of it. Going to move some of these cards to the side, and our first foil is a Shoreline Ranger and a Soldier token. So I'm setting some of the cards aside because I, want to keep them aside for later because they're the ones I'm sort of looking for. Okay, let's see what we have. Deep Analysis. Another card I want to set aside. You notice a lot of the cards I'm setting aside are blue because I'm one of those filthy, filthy blue players. Anyways, we have Annihilate as our first uncommon. Relic of Progenesis, which is something I'm going to set aside as well too. Blood Artist. And Sylvan Library. It's another nice one. For 1 and 1 green, you get an enchantment. At the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 cards in your hand. Drawn this turn, for each of those cards, pay 4 life to... pay 4 life or put the card on top of your library. And our foil is an Elite Vanguard. And a really cool looking worm token. So Mystical Tutor, Sylvan Library, nice ways to sort of start off the booster box. Communion with the Gods. Werebear, that's another kind of cool card that I'm glad got a reprint. Though they didn't have the original flavor text, which I think got a lot of people annoyed, including myself, because I believe, unless I'm wrong, the original flavor text for Werebear was he has the right to bear arms, which is kind of a funny little pun. I'm actually going to set that one aside. Mana War, here we go. Okay, so it's the first card that we're keeping track of. Got a nice copy of that. White Mane Lion is another card I'm just going to quickly set aside. Our first uncommon is Brawn. Then we have a Messy Tomb. It's a Messy Tomb. We've got Wonder. And Vindicate as our rare. Vindicate is 1 and a white and black. Gets you a sorcery, destroy target permanent. Very, very nice. And Victimize as our foil. And a soldier token. Like I said, there's a ton of cards from this set that I'm happy with. And so far I'm happy with all 3 of the rares. Vindicate. I did say Vindicate, right? For some reason now I'm worried that I said Victimize because it's a foil, but whatever. Vindicate is another card where I was, looking for a nice updated art version of, and I've got it now, so I'm happy about that. Anyways, enough yakking. We have Flinthoof Boar as our first uncommon. Flamekin Zealot. Wonder, and our rare is Baleful Strix. For a blue and a black, it gets you a 1/1 artifact bird creature. It's got flying, death touch. And when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. And a foil Wrath of God. Excellent. Keep in mind, this is... Oh, sorry. And a Goblin Soldier token. I really, really wanted to pull a Wrath of God. And to get a foil one, which is really great. I have the Annihilation set, but I really, really like having a different foil version of Wrath of God. And it's a rare. A foil rare. You're never going to be unhappy with the foil rares. So I am pretty happy with that foil Wrath of God. Elephant Guide is another cool card to be able to pull. Milliken is our first uncommon. Hydroblast is another card that a lot of people wanted reprinted. Sengir Autocrat. And our rare is Icarid. I believe that's how it's pronounced. For 3 and a black, gets you a 3/1 horror creature with haste. And at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice Icarid. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Icarid is in your graveyard, you may exile a black creature card other than Icarid from your graveyard. If you do, return Icarid to the battlefield. And I foil Rugged Highlands. Okay. Squadron Hawk, I meant to be setting those aside. I'm not sure if I've gone past them or not. This is another card which I might try to play around with in Pauper a bit. It's there are several cards from Urza's, I can't remember the set exactly, where you would pay the cost, it would come into play, and then you could untap that exact same number of lands. So it's kind of a cool card. I don't want to do the mechanics that got Cloud of Fairies banned, but it's still, there are certain things you can do with it without doing one of the most annoying combos, I think, in Pauper history. Hey, another updated art counterspell. Beetleback Chief, that's another uncommon that I was looking for. Roar of the Worm, Victimize, and our rare is Deathrite Shaman. It's very nice. For either black or a green, you get a 1/2 Elf Shaman. You can tap it, exile target land from your graveyard, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, or you can pay 1 black and then tap it, exile instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. You can also pay 1 green, tap it, exile target creature card from a graveyard. You gain 2 life. And our foil is a giant, shiny tortoise. I really like the Goblin Soldier tokens in this. I mean, the artwork all around, like a lot of the new artwork, is just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Still no copies of Days yet, but I'm not losing hope. It's way too early to lose hope. We have a bunch of commons, which I won't read. Several. Nimble Mongoose, that's another one that's got a reprint that a lot of people are happy with. Llanowar Elves, I'm going to set that aside because I really like having some nice, fresh, new copies of Llanowar Elves. It's kind of a blast from the past for me. Firebolt. Okay, our first uncommon is Faith's Fetters. Burning Vengeance. Mishra's Factory, this is another card I'm happy to get a copy of. And Crater Hellion. For 4 and 2 red, gets you a 6/6 Hellion Beast creature. It's got Echo 4 and 2 red, which means at the beginning of your upkeep, if this card came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost. When Crater Hellion enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to each other creature. And a foil Gravedigger, that's very nice. And a really cool looking elemental token. Another copy of Mana War. Fog, there's another blast from the past for me. Honden of the Seeing Winds. Honden of Seeing Winds. This is one of the legendary shrines that came out in the Kamigawa block, where the more shrines you had, the more effects they would do each turn. I've played in draft with this and the flashback drafts of Magic Online, and man, if your opponent gets a few of these shrines out, the right shrines, it can really turn the tide pretty quickly for them. Flinthoof Boar, Torrent of Souls, and our rare is Imperious Perfect. For 2 and a green, gets you a 2/2 Elf Warrior creature. Other elf creatures you control get +1/+1. You also can pay 1 green, tap it, put a 1/1 Elf Warrior creature token onto the battlefield. And our foil is nice foil Tragic Slip, which is an excellent, excellent card. Carnivore. I've never seen that as a token. It's a beast, a 3/1 beast token. Yeah, Tragic Slip is one of those nice picks in drafts where it can really do work for you. Deep Analysis, I'm going to set that aside. Elephant Guide I should probably be setting aside as well too. Okay, our first uncommon is Flame Jab. Merfolk Looter, it's another one I want to set aside. And Jetting Glasskite, another one I want to set aside. And our rare is Toxic Deluge, or Deluge. It's 2 and 1 black sorcery as an additional cost to cast Toxic Deluge. Pay X life. All creatures get -X until the end of turn. And our foil is Dragon Egg. A nice foil Dragon Egg. And a really cool looking spirit token. Wow, that's awesome. Duress. Honden of Infinite Rage, which is one of those shrines I was talking about. Cabal Therapy, another great card. We Dragonauts, which is just an awesome name for a card. And Entomb, excellent. That's a really nice rare to pull. For 1 black, you can search your library for a card and put that card... Excuse me. I do not want to burp in the microphone. For 1 black, it's an instant. You can search your library for a card and put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. And a foil Shelter, with just a regular old goblin token, which, once again, has some nice artwork to it. So I'm pretty happy with the rares that we've pulled. We haven't pulled a Mythic yet, I don't think. No, we have not pulled a Mythic yet, so I think we're still 0 for the Mythic count. Going to move some of these cards aside for a bit. There we go. We have Harmonize as our first uncommon. Young Pyromancer, which is a nice card to have a reprint of. Wall of Omens, and our rare is Isoron's Scepter, which is another one of the rares. There's so many cards in this set that I don't have that I was really excited to get a copy of. This is another one of those cards. It's got imprint. It's an artifact. For 2, it has imprint, and when the scepter enters the battlefield, you may exile an instant card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your hand, like, say, Counterspell, and you can pay to tap it. You may copy the exiled card. If you do, you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. I can see making some people's lives very miserable with that in upcoming games. Flame Jab is our foil, and an Elf Warrior token. Okay, our first uncommon is Rancor. Intangible Virtue. Ticking Gnomes, and our rare is Future Sight. For 2 and 3 blue, it's an enchantment. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library. And a foil, Gia's Blessing. With a different spirit token this time. Nice. Wirewood Symbiote. Hey, there we go, and a copy of Days. Perfect. Gonna set that aside for myself. And we have Victimize, and our rare is Maze of Ith. Wonderful. It's a land, and you can tap it to untap target attacking creature. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by that creature this turn. And our rare is a foil Humble Elephant. It's a really nice one to get there. Pretty happy about that. Still no mythics yet, but, you know, there might be one coming. There might be one coming. Hopefully we'll get at least a couple out of the box, but you never know. It is pretty much like playing the lotto for the most part. Okay, we have Harmonize as our uncommon. We have Ashnod's Altar. God, I almost butchered the pronunciation of that. Phyrexian Gargantua. And our rare is, yes, Force of Will. Beautiful. I'm sort of torn. Now, I'm not against selling cards to sort of recoup the cost of a box. However, Force of Will was one of those cards where I really just wanted a copy of for myself. So even though it's a big ticket card, I don't know if I'm going to be able to part with it. I really don't know if I'm going to be able to part with it. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, Force of Will, which was originally an uncommon, is now a mythic. It is 3 and 2 blue, gets you an instant where you may pay 1 life and exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay Force of Will's mana cost. Counter target spell. Beautiful, beautiful card. And a foil Elvish Vanguard. And a Surf token. I'm going to quickly straighten out this mess I'm building here so that I can set Force of Will aside all on its own. A little bit of dust or something there. Let's give it a place of honor. We got all these foils, which I'm happy about as well too. I'm not really a foil collector. If I were to pull a foil Force of Will, that would be sold. I wouldn't be keeping that. But just Force of Will on its own, I'm happy to sort of keep a copy of that card for my own personal collection. So, man, Force of Will, excellent. Really nice pull there. We have Skulking Ghost as a common, and I don't know why I'm reading it. Tragic Slip. Curd Ape. This is another one that people were excited to have reprinted. Nature's Claim. Here we go. Our first uncommon is Keldon Champion. Gaia's Blessing. Animate Dead. Another really, I mean, look at how small they have to go with the text on this one. It's a really exciting card to have reprinted, even though it's got a small novel that you have to read off. And Goblin Charbelcher. Oh man, I got to read this entire card. Okay, so for 4 of any mana, it gets you an artifact. You can pay 3, tap it, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. Goblin Charbelcher deals damage equal to the number of non-land cards revealed that way to target creature or player. If the revealed land card was a mountain, Goblin Charbelcher deals double that damage instead. Put the revealed cards on the bottom of your library in any order. and a foil Pilgrim's Eye, and a soldier token. Okay. I think we've only got 2 Mana Wars. I do the tallies, the actual tallies, while I'm editing, not so much while I'm opening the box, so I don't know how many of the Mana Wars I have. I'm sure I only have 1 days. Anyways, Young Pyromancer is our first uncommon. Mindless Automation. No, Mindless Automaton. Yeah, that's what I was going to say originally. I've corrected myself halfway through. Anyways, Zealous Persecution, and our rare is Siege Gang Commander, another rare that I'm really happy to get a copy of. For 3 and 2 red, it gets you a 2/2 Goblin, and when Siege Gang Commander enters the battlefield, put 3 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. I can then pay 1 and 1 red, sacrifice a Goblin. Siege Gang Commander deals 2 damage to target creature or player. I think Travis has been wanting to play with this card, so maybe we can do a trade for this one. So, and a foil Reckless Charge, and a zombie token. Okay, our first uncommon is Glimmerpoint Stag, Intangible Virtue, Zealous Persecution, and our rare is Jareth Leonine Titan. This is a card where when it first came out, God, I'm trying to remember, was it Judgment or Onslaught? I almost played exclusively white in Constructed way back in the day, and I thought this card was phenomenal. So it's a cool blast from the past to pull this card, so I'm super happy to get it. Anyways, we have a 6-drop, 3 and 3 white, gets you a 4/7 legendary giant cat creature. Whenever Leo blocks, it gets +7/+7 until the end of turn. I can pay 1 white, and Jareth gains protection from the color of your choice until the end of turn. And our foil is Gaseous Form, a dragon token. I apologize for the little asides. I'm sort of like going into story time when I see some of these cards, but man, some of these cards just bring back some memories of a time in between when I quit Magic for quite a while, actually. Okay, so we have Havoc Demon as our first uncommon, Field of Souls, Prodigal Sorcerer, which I'm setting aside, and Heritage Druid. For 1 green, you get a 1/1 Elf Druid. Tap 3 untapped elves you control, add 3 green to your mana pool. And our foil is a Scoured Barrens. Still just 1 copy a days. That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. We have Rancor as our first uncommon, Battle Squadron, Worn Power Stone, and our rare is a Mythic Balance. Wonderful. It is for 1 white and 1 of any color. It gets you a sorcery. Each player chooses a number of lands he or she controls equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest. Then sacrifices the rest. Players discard cards and sacrifice creatures the same way. I can definitely see making people's lives very miserable playing this card. And our foil is Sentinel Spider with an Elf Warrior token. So we got 2 mythics. That's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Balance is another one of the ones I was kind of hoping to get. There's very few that I wasn't really sort of hoping to get from this set, but yeah, it's not always going to be the big ticket ones. Firebolt, Pilgrim's Eye, Tranquil Cove. First uncommon is Calciderm. Get to Slinger, I think that's the pronunciation, Soul Catcher, and our rare is Braids Cabal Minion. This is from, I want to say, Torment, and this is another card that sort of brings back memory. Chainer was actually the character from this particular storyline that I was quite fond of. I used to read the novels as well, too, and that was a really cool character. Braids as well, too, I believe is from that storyline, and she is a 4-drop, 2 and 2 black, 2/2 legendary human minion creature, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. And we have a foil Shaman of the Pack. Nice. And a wall creature token. Looks like after this, we're down to our last 3 packs. So we have Urborg Uprising. They're comments. Why am I reading them? Why? Why am I reading them? Nothing. No. Okay. No Mana Wars. Factor Fiction. Nice card. Invigorate. Lys Alana Scarblade. And our rare is... Excellent, another mythic. And it's Necropotence. Really, really cool. For 3 black, it gets you an enchantment, and you can skip your draw step. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. Pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library face down, put that card into your hand at the beginning of your next end step. Really, really cool one to get. And a mythic, of course. Faithless Looting is our foil. Carnivore. So Force of Will, Balance, and Necropotence are our mythics so far. We got 3 packs remaining, folks. And I'm already pretty happy with this box. And another reprinted Counterspell, setting that aside. Swiftwater Cliffs, Werebear. Chain Lightning, this is another one of the cards that I was thinking of actually tallying up, so I'm going to set that aside. That is our first uncommon. Armadillo Cloak, another great uncommon. Phyrexian Ingester, and our rare is Goblin Trenches. For 1 red and 1 white, gets you an enchantment. Pay 2, sacrifice a land, put 2 1/1 red and white Goblin Soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. And our foil is Eye Blight's Ending. And an elemental token. Still only 1 copy a day. That's the only disappointing thing about this box so far. Sierra Angel. Way back in the day, first rare I ever opened in a pack of Magic was Sierra Angel, back when it was rare, and I played the hell out of that card. I'm fairly certain I still have the copy of it. If I do, I can dig it out, and you'll see that it is worn to hell, because that was before people played with sleeves for the most part. Anyways, our first uncommon is Sierra Angel. Pyroblast, another card people were hoping to have reprinted or excited to have reprinted. Same thing with him to Turok. And our rare is Malicious Affliction. For 2 black, it gets you an instant with Morbid. When you cast Malicious Affliction, if a creature died this turn, you may copy Malicious Affliction and may choose a new target for the copy. Destroy target non-black creature. And our foil is Mindless Automaton. Automaton. I keep wanting to say Automation, but it's not. It's Mindless Automaton. Anyways, that is our foil and our Soldier token. And the final pack of this box of Eternal Masters. Okay, going through the commons. Nimble Mongoose, another copy of Nimble Mongoose. I've gotten 4 copies of the Drake, I'm pretty sure at this point, but not 4 copies of Mana War. So I'm going to have to break down and buy a couple copies of Mana War. Our first uncommon is Hondan of Seeing Winds. I don't know why I have such trouble saying that. Hydroblast, Wall of Omens, and our final rare in this final pack of the box of Eternal Masters is Arcanus the Omnipotent. Omnipotent, I'm pretty sure that's the pronunciation. It's a 6-drop, 3 and 3 blue. Gets you a legendary wizard creature, which is a 3/4. Tap it, draw 3 cards. You can pay 2 and 2 blue and return Arcanus the Omnipotent to its owner's hand. This is another one of those cards from back in the day. Once again, I think, God, I want to say it was Onslaught that he came from originally. That I thought, man, back in the day, I thought he was a really, really, really cool card. So, and our final foil is an Emperor Crocodile and a Dragon token. So there we go, folks. That was the box. I'm going to do a quick recap in just a moment. So there you go, folks. That was the box of Eternal Masters. As you can see, we ended up with 2 Mana Wars and 1 Days. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of each of those, but still, it's not bad. I'm happy to have the new copies of Mana War, and I actually do have like a fair number of copies of Days from back in the day. I just wanted more copies with the new artwork. We have a foil Wrath of God, which is sort of a personal favorite of mine, so I know it's not the best rare you could have possibly gotten foil, but for me, this is a card I'm going to be keeping because I really, really like sweeper effects, as Travis and Steve from Brain Pulp could no doubt tell you. We got a Force of Will, and how can you be upset with a box where you get to pull a Force of Will? Sort of bittersweet about this because I'm probably going to end up keeping it, and part of me really wants to sell it to sort of recoup some of the price of the box, but man, I really want to keep that for my collection. Anyways, I can decide that at another time. The other two mythics we got in the box were Balance and Necropotence, two very, very cool cards. We also have my personal highlights from the box as far as rare goes: Mystical Tutor, Sylvan Library, Maze of Ith, the Scepter, Entomb, Deathrite Shaman, and Vindicate. We also ended up with, of course, a whole bunch of other really fun, cool rares from some back in the day, some that have never really received much in the way of different types of printing. So yeah, overall, it's going to be a nice little boost to my collection, and maybe there'll be one or two pieces that I sell. Now, there is a very, very small chance that there will be another box of Eternal Masters that's being opened up for the channel. If there is, I will let you guys know right away, and it will probably be happening sometime, that video, if it exists, if that video ends up existing, it will probably be up sometime next week. In the meantime, though, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, if you want to let me know what pulls you got out of your packs of Eternal Masters, whether it's an entire booster box, or you just got lucky in a single pack, or during your draft, please leave that in the comments section below. Also, you can contact us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle for the channel is @BrainPulpTV, and my personal Twitter handle is @GeekTragedy. That said, take care, everyone. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. May all your pulls be mythics, and I'll see you all very soon.